Welcome to another episode of Tampa Bay Politics. I'm Angela Birdsong, your host, also affectionately known as the Medicare Lady during the day. But I am so excited because not only do I have a mover and a shaker in the house, but a dear friend, Mr. Jarvis El-Amin.
Good morning, Sister Angela, and to your beautiful audience, your listening audience. Thank you for inviting me here. I'm so excited to be here.
Wonderful. Now, you know what? We always start off at the beginning. Where were you born?
I was born in a little town with 3,000 people in it called Dawson, Georgia. And Otis Redding was my cousin. He was born in Dawson, Georgia, left Dawson when he was 3.
Did you say Otis Redding?
Otis Redding Jr. was born in Dawson, Georgia, left when he was 3 years old and moved to Macon. That's my mama's second cousin. Okay. So he's my cousin.
Wonderful. So now, how long did you stay in Georgia?
I was there till I was 16 years old. I left Dawson at 16 and went to Miami.
Okay. So then where did you go to high school?
I went to high school in Dawson, Terrell County High School. I finished when I was 16 years old, and I was excited about getting out of that little town to conquer the world. At 14, I started visiting the farm that the Nation of Islam had a farmland in Georgia, and I used to go out there and pick beans and work on the farm. And I started getting introduced to the Nation of Islam, and actually I joined. But at 14, you couldn't be officially a member. Okay. You had to wait till you were 16 and have your parents sign for you. My mama signed for me to join. I became a Muslim in the Nation of Islam at 16 years old.
All right, so your parents were not in the Nation of Islam?
No, my father was already passed, but my mother was a single mother that raised me. She's affectionately known as Jimmy Bell. That's my love. She lived right here in my heart.
Okay, and how many children did she have?
She had 4.
Okay.
I had 1 sister and 2 brothers.
And where are they now?
Well, I got 1 brother in Miami, 1 transition. He was a Muslim. He accepted Islam prior to me because he left Dawson and went to Newark. He transitioned from colon cancer 2007, 8, somewhere around there. And then my sister's still in Dawson.
Oh, okay.
She retired, worked at the Dawson Manor nursing home as a nurse. She retired 3 years ago.
So where'd you go to high school?
Terrell County High School.
Terrell County. And then you graduated, and what did you do after that?
1976, I graduated and left and went to Miami and was a Muslim brother that had a little restaurant, a steak and take Muslim fast food place in Dawson. And he had another one in Miami. He said, look, if you want to get out of this town, I got another restaurant in Miami. You can go work for me in Miami. I said, let's do it. So I finished school June 6, 1977. June 7th, I was on the Trailway bus to Miami. 15 hours.
15 hours to Miami. Yep. Okay, so did you go to college?
Yes, I went to Miami-Dade Junior College. I first started off in radio broadcasting. My first passion was radio broadcasting, radio and TV broadcasting. I did that for 2 years, and I saw a little racism in there. They were not letting all the black students work the TV. They want to keep black people in radio. We didn't want to learn TV production. I said, I ain't got time to deal with this racism. By that time, I was wide awoke, being in the Nation of Islam. So I said, really, let me just change my major to business. And I started studying business management. I won 3 credits away from a 2-year degree in business management.
Okay, and then you left.
I went to Miami-Dade College, junior college.
And then you left there, and what did you do?
No, I stayed there 10 years. And
you stayed in Miami?
10 years, yes. Eventually, the restaurant, the brother that told me to come work for him in Miami,
yes,
he sold me the place. And,
so you were a restaurant owner?
Yeah, well, that's after about 2 years. He was going to sell the place. He offered me first that I want to buy the place. I went back to Dawson and got my sister to put up some land that my family had, and got a $5,000 loan from a bank in Dawson. She got the loan, gave me the $5,000. I came back and bought the place for $5,000. That was my first restaurant business. I was about 19 then.
Wow. And then how long did you keep that?
Well, it happened real good, Angela. I got a partner, and then we got 2 places. We end up with 4 places. One in Liberty City, one in Carroll City, called Miami Gardens 9, one at Northside Shopping Center, and one in Coconut Grove.
Those are some hot spots right there, Coconut Grove.
Oh, yeah. We was on Grand Avenue.
Wow. It was called, and what type of restaurant was it?
It was called a Steak and Take. If you're from New York, you should know. In Harlem, the Muslims had the Steak and Take. And so my name of my place was Pyramid Fish and Steak.
I see.
Fish and steak. So we said a chopped steak sandwich on a whole wheat bun. At that time, nobody could get a whole wheat steak, get a steak sandwich on a whole wheat bun. So we did that, and then we had the fish supreme. Of course, we had the bean pie and the carrot cake. And I had upside down pineapple, and I had bread pudding. I took all the bread from my deli sandwiches, the bread left over and made bread pudding out of it. So I had corned beef, I had pastrami, I had turkey, and that was the cold deli side. And then I had the beef burgers, beef franks, I call them Arabian franks, and then I had the steak and take.
And you did that for how long?
I did that for 8 years.
I see.
So what happened was I bought my partners out, and I actually sold 3 of the places and bought my partners out. And then I just kept one place, and then I sold the last place. Then I came here.
Now, what made you come to Tampa, Florida?
Well, what made me come here, my brother was here, and I was getting sick of Miami, the rat race. You know, this was around 87, 86, 87. I said I want to get out of there. And so he said, come to Tampa. My first option was to go to Palm Beach. So I went to Palm Beach. I said, well, if I'm going to go to Palm Beach, I might as well stay in Miami. Then I drove on up to Orlando. The cost of living was so high at that time in Orlando. I said, no. He said, Jarvis, just take I-4 and come over here and see Tampa, man. You'll like it. It's big enough to be a city, country enough to be a town. It's a good place. Hey, come on, man. And I came to Tampa, and I loved it.
Good advice right there.
It was.
How long ago was that?
1987.
87. So you've been, I came in 90.
Yes.
From New York City.
Okay.
Yeah.
I came 3 years ahead of you.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been here 35 years, so you've been here 32 years.
32 years. My baby was 3 months old. Now he's 32.
That's it. So the numbers don't lie.
Now, I think I first met you when you were working at WTMP radio.
Yeah, you met me late because I've been in this town a long time before that. Yeah, I was always a supporter of WTMP.
Okay.
But I went when they went away, and Angela Bruden became the sales manager. She asked me to come on and do sales with her. That was 2014.
I see. Okay.
So that went away for a couple of years, and then it came back. And she asked me to come. She was the sales manager at the time. And prior to when they went away, I worked for her with Ice Cream Magazine. I was the advertising director there. And so when they came back, they asked her to come back, and she asked me to come back with her.
I see. Okay. And we still have WTMP today.
Yes, it's still going on today. Mr. Howard Word is the general manager. As a matter of fact, I trained him when he came in. He trained
and Howard is doing an awesome job?
Yes, he is. He's a good brother.
Okay, so from all that sales experience, you wrote a book.
Oh, yes, of course. And you miss a lot of sales experience. I mean, I was all that time, I was hustling on the streets, what we call flat-foot hustling, knocking on doors, selling perfume, selling watches, selling incense. I did that for years in Miami. I mean, knocking on doors, going to Belgrade, going to Fort Lauderdale, going to Homestead, going to Largo, coming out, traveling state.
Okay, so the restaurant was easy.
Yeah.
Compared to that.
No, and the restaurant was harder than that.
Oh, really?
The hustling on the street was easier and more money.
Okay.
Restaurant business is hard. It's hard because you can't find good help. They're stealing your money, taking your food out the back door. If somebody call out, you got to be there. I do not want to have anything. And I had a restaurant business here. A lot of people don't really know my story. This is going to be brand new. Little known Black history fact right here. You want to hear it?
Yes, sir.
I gave Salem Gyro his start. I had a place right there.
Salem.
I gave him his start. I had a place on 34th in Hillsborough. I had a place called Pyramid Fishing Estate. It was my place. And I couldn't get no support from the black community, the white community, nobody community. I stayed in there for 9 months. I opened that place up in 1989. Stayed in the business 9 months. Had the place up for sale for $20,000. I put a hunk of money in. I put $40,000 in that place. Cash money that I had.
Cash money. And what was that location?
34th in Hillsborough.
Okay.
34th in Hillsborough, right down the streets.
Yes.
And Salem Gyro came to me to buy. He was a Muslim brother. He's from Tunisia. And because he was a Muslim brother, I gave him some play. I sold that place for a measly $5,000. He didn't have
really?
He didn't have the whole $5,000. He gave me $1,000 down and paid me $1,000 a month.
That is amazing.
And he don't want people to know that a black man gave me a start. Me and him got into it because he don't want. I tell people this, and I told him you don't want the truth be known. So he big now, but he got his start from a country boy from Dawson, Georgia.
Wow, that is a little known black history fact.
On Touch News.
Wow. Now, so obviously you have a very broad sales background, and you came up with a book called Creating a Sales Mentality.
Yes, creating a sales mentality, how you see yourself as a salesperson, how do you think like a salesperson. Sales is in the mind. 85% psychological, 15% technique. I know how to train salespeople because you got to get into their head. They got to do daily positive affirmations. As a man thinks, so is he. As a man thinks, so he remains. You got to think positive. You got to think in the affirmative. You got to believe that next door is going to be the one that's going to make the money. You got to believe in yourself, believe in your product. You got to know the techniques on how to transition, how to ask the qualifying questions. See, people think sales is just about talking. It is not just about talking. It's about listening and asking the right question, the qualifying questions, which are going to give you, they're going to tell you how to sell them. And you got to sell them based on what their needs and concerns are, not what you want to sell them.
Well, guess what? I've been in sales over 30 years. I used to work for a pretty good salesman named Earl Graves.
I know Earl Graves.
Yes, founder of Black Enterprise Magazine in New York City.
That's right. You was there.
Yeah, I was there. And he used to say, if your friends are not reading Black Enterprise Magazine, they should not be your friends.
And the man was telling the truth. Because you got to support those that support you.
And you got to have that mentality. It's all about what you got up here. And you need to have people around you who feel the same way.
It's called a home court advantage.
Okay.
You got to have people around you that think like you, that's nourishing. You got to get rid of the toxic people around you.
You don't want people bringing you down. Because like you said, it's a mind game.
It's a mind. It is. So that's why if you look at the cover of my book, you get into the mind. So how you train and retain salespeople, they got to think like a salesperson. You got to change your language. It's not a contract, it's an agreement. Okay?
Yes.
So you got to understand that. So the people not signing them. When I was selling ADT, people wasn't signing no 36-month contract. They were signing an agreement. It's not a price, it's an investment. So you got to change the words. So those fear-producing words, you got to know what they are and stay away from them. If you say contract, you lost the deal. If you ask somebody to sign something, no, I need you to endorse it right here. Push the agreement there. I need you to endorse this agreement.
Yes.
Endorse is softer than sign. What I'm saying, the last time they signed something, they got beat.
Yes.
So they don't want to sign nothing. Last time they signed the contract wasn't in their favor. So it's an agreement.
I agree.
There you go. So that's what I do first.
And it's about filling their needs.
Yes. Addressing their needs.
Addressing their needs.
And concerns.
Yes.
Not just their needs. Some people don't understand they have needs, but you do have concerns.
Yes.
So that's another way you change the language. So I don't say a need analysis. I'm addressing your needs and your concerns by asking you the qualifying questions. That's going to tell me.
Who do you think would most benefit from reading this book?
Everybody. Because if you married, your husband persuaded you to marry. Selling is the art of persuasion. So in your life, you're persuading all the time. You're persuading. If you're a politician, every politician, including the President of the United States, can benefit from this book. Because his persuasion skills is lacking a little bit, particularly in the African American community.
Well, I said, hey, I happen to be a politician running to be your next county commissioner in District 2. And it's about persuading people to see your point of view, to understand their point of view, and to make them understand that you want to do what is best for their needs.
And share your vision.
And share your vision.
There you go. Don't forget that, because you have to have a vision for running. So I ask people that's running, what is your record of community service? What you did for the community prior to you running for office? That's going to tell me whether you're serious or you're curious.
Mm-hmm.
If you're curious, curiosity killed the cat and satisfaction brought it back. But if you're serious, you got a record of community service. So when people talk about Jarvis, I mean Brother Jarvis, I have a long record of community service that I did for this community for free. So when they talk about Jarvis as a consultant, Jarvis about money, yes. You know why? Because I have a long record of community service I did for free. So I talk for free and I consult for money.
And of course, if you're a small business owner in the community, you're serving the community. You're going to know people. You're going to end up helping people, feeding people. Yes.
And on that note, that's what we're doing now with Masjid Al-Nasr. We have a food pantry that we've been doing for 5 years. We have a youth mentoring program. We do a bike giveaway.
Oh, wait a minute. Don't throw that away. We got to talk about all that's going on at the mosque. A lot. We'll be back in a minute.
By now, we're all aware of the dangers of COVID-19. Like others with existing health issues, cancer patients are at a high risk due to their compromised condition. If you are newly diagnosed with cancer, your care likely can't wait. Moffitt Cancer Center is the best place for your cancer concerns and to provide guidance to help you plan your next steps. We're here for you. Call 1-888-456-2839 or go to moffitt.org/here for you.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer. I got the man to do the legwork for you. We tried the other ones before, so believe me. 100 down, 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay, call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida, grab a pen and sundown. 1-800-361-RICK. That's 1-800-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, plus your boy stay fine. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 1-800-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky, is a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers are not network are trained in handling model injury claims. We need the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team is dominating the standings, when your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. To get the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call Herma White at 961-6661. That's 961-6661.
All right, we are here with the one and only Jarvis El-Amin, and he has done so much for the community, including in politics.
Of course.
Yes. But we're going to talk about what's going on at the mosque, because a lot of people don't get to go down there. They don't know what's happening. But we have one of the largest Muslim communities in the country,
We do.
right in Temple Terrace.
Not just in Temple Terrace.
I see a lot of folks in New Tampa as well. Yes.
Actually, we have 28 mosques in the Tampa Bay area.
I see.
And the largest one is actually on Slide Cross from Tampa Bay Tech.
Okay.
Islamic Society of the Tampa Bay area. 5,000 Muslims go there every Friday for Jummah. But we have a community mosque that I want to talk about.
All
It's
right.
Masjid Al-Nasr. It's a community mosque in one of the most impoverished communities in Tampa, which is Sulphur Springs. And our community mosque is the outreach mosque. And Al-Nasr means the helpers. And we have 7 major initiatives. We have a food pantry. We have a youth mentoring program, bike giveaway, turkey giveaway, book bag giveaway, panel discussions, and health fair. And those are our 7 major initiatives. And we do a food pantry there, 905 East Skagway, on the corner of Nebraska and Bush, every Saturday from 1 to 3. We give away good food. We have a contract with Feeding Tampa Bay. We give away fresh food and meat every Saturday from 1 to 3.
Well, that is huge. Now, if someone is in need, how do they need to sign up?
No, ain't no sign up. We don't ask you what your religion is. You ain't got to come there and confess Allah. You ain't got to do none of that. All you got to do is come at 1 o'clock, and we give you a bag of groceries with meat and groceries in it.
Now, what day did you say that is?
Every Saturday.
Every Saturday.
It's
1
at
o'clock.
905 East Skagway. It's on the corner of Nebraska and Bush, right across the street from that car wash in that warehouse area. Masjid Al-Nasr. Go to your GPS and put in Masjid, M-A-S-J-I-D, Al-Nasr, A-N-N-A-S-R. The Mosque of the Helpers. That's what that means.
Now, it's in a strip center.
It's in a
right?
strip mall.
It's in a strip mall. Okay. Now, the big mosque that's you have a mosque in New Tampa as well, right?
Yeah, that's the Islamic Society of New Tampa, Islamic Society of Tampa Bay area. We have one, the Qassam Mosque, which is the one in Temple Terrace, which is the second largest mosque. They just built a school called American Youth Academy, $13 million school.
$13 million
And you was
school.
there.
I was there.
That's right, for the grand
But-
opening.
Yes, for their athletic center. Yes, amazing.
Amazing. Right. The Muslim community is financially well off, and they vote 65%. So we are the emerging electorate. We are the emerging voters that get it done. And they can not only vote, they contribute to campaigns. So a lot of politicians are leaving them out, and they believe
Not me.
They believe in the hype, and not want to come. They fear what they don't know. So they want to come to the mosque. They want to visit the mosque. They want to outreach to Muslims. But thanks to Emerge, thanks to United Voices.
Now explain what Emerge is.
Emerge is a Muslim civic education and voter education organization. And also they have a PAC too, a political action committee. So we have the nonprofit part that educate the Muslims about the voting process, but there's a political action committee that give money to campaigns.
Now, when you say education, you're teaching them how to get registered?
How to get registered, how to vote, and how to do your research on candidates. And we also have MDF, Muslim for Democracy and Freedom, which is a PAC as well, and they do civic education to the Muslim community.
I'm happy to say that MDF did endorse me.
That's great.
Last cycle.
That's right.
And I love the Muslim community. I also had the opportunity to visit with 200 Muslim women that care.
Well, let me tell you something. If you visit them, they have a hunk of money, and you need to go back over there to them and visit them again and get them to write you a check because they have a lot of it. But all of their husbands have a lot of money.
Yes, they do.
And they have a nonprofit, and they want to be involved.
They do.
And we want to kill the myth of oppressed and disrespecting women. Some of that stuff is cultural, but it's not have nothing to do with Islam.
And they have a very good mission in that they everyone who joins the group, I believe, pays like $1,000 a year, something like that, and then they pool that money together and decide what nonprofit or organization they're going to give the money to.
Yes, and they do have an application process, and Masjid Nasser have put the application in, and they do that. They gave $20,000. It's average about anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000. Sometimes people give more than $1,000. And they determine what organization, nonprofit they're going to help. And not just Muslim nonprofit. They help Miracles Outreach with Michelle.
Oh, Miracles Outreach.
They gave them, they gave them a hunk of money.
That's wonderful.
And so we want to know
and
that.
they help with foster children, right?
Right. And,
Yes.
and foster children and girls, boys and girls that's aging out of foster care.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
so-
that is a huge issue.
Here's the issue.
Yes. Because
Tyrone and Michelle,
yes,
they're good
once
people.
the children leave foster care, where do they go?
Where did they go? And they help them with that. They got group homes that they're doing great. That's one of the greatest jewels in Tampa Bay that's not talked about. Miracles Outreach.
Yes.
And
they've
do
been around for a little while. I used to go to their luncheons.
and they did the fashion show, the runway.
They have a fashion show fundraiser.
That's right. It's
yes.
what it is. They major fundraiser.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm familiar with them.
Yes.
I have to contribute to their organization. Me and Candy contributed to them for when they got started for the last 15, 20
Candy
years.
Lowe.
Yep.
Yes. Black Business Bus Tour.
Right.
I know you're very good friends with her.
Oh, yeah,
and she has taught me to shop black whenever you can.
That's right.
If I can't shop black, I do try to support small business owners.
That's true. Well, that's been our mission for 16 years. So, I'm saying that getting back to the book, Creating a Sales Mentality, anybody that want to develop persuasion skills, and if you want to enhance your persuasion skills, this is the book for you. If you're looking at the table of contents, you will see some of the topics I talk about. And positive affirmations, how to overcome objections, a successful sales formula. All of these things, USP, your unique selling proposition, how to develop a unique selling proposition. What's uniquely about your business different from your competitor but benefits your client? If you don't know your USP, what make you different? You got to have an edge that make you different, and then you have to promote your difference to the public. And so we teach all of that.
Believe it or not, I say affirmations every day.
You should, and continue saying. When I was knocking on doors, I sit in between my door knocks. I knocked on 75, 80 doors a day. I just recently retired from Spectrum. I was there 18 months, and I was number 4 in the region and number 10 in the country.
Wow.
And the 10 in the country. So I was great. I was the best. I was doing my thing, doing it right. And so I'm saying this to you, I kind of revamped their whole training program. Because they had a training program for a week, but they never got into the people's heads, so they was just running through salespeople. Nobody can keep and retain salespeople. So those that want to know how to retain salespeople, you need to call me at 813-787-6652 or go to my website.
Say that one more time.
813-787-6652. If you want to know how to retain salespeople, if you want to be trained and you want salespeople to get one-on-one sales coaching, you still need to call Jarvis Elamine, 813-787-6652.
So you will actually coach people.
One-on-one sales coaching. We'll develop your presentation. We'll role play with you and take you out in the field and show you how to do it for a nice fee.
All right. Well, we know it's not free, but it's certainly worth it.
But let me tell you something. And if you do it free, they won't put no value in it. That's what I find. What I found out over the years.
Obviously, I mean, if you're going to help somebody with sales, they're going to get value out of it.
Of course they will, but people still want it free. People still want it free, and not just our
And how
people.
do they get the book, by the way?
They can go to enhancemententerprises.com.
And how much is the book?
$15.
All
It'd
right.
be the best
$15 that can change your world.
Oh, this book will change lives and change bank accounts. That's my
Amen.
motto. This book will change lives and bank accounts. And I'm
that's what
telling
we
you,
need.
if you look in the book, it got where you set goals, how to set goals, your self-image, how you see yourself as a salesperson, how to develop a positive self-image. It starts with you. If you're knocking on doors and you see yourself as a door knocker, you're not going to make no sales. If you're knocking on doors and you see yourself as a peddler, you're not going to make no money. You have to see yourself as bringing value and civilization to your potential client. So when I'm selling internet, when I was selling cable TV, I'm bringing technology to a community that need technology. I'm advancing civilization through technology. You have to see your value in your product or service just as a doctor or heart surgeon see how valuable he is. And
That's
if you don't-
deep.
Yes. Because salespeople are underrated. It's the most honored profession in the world and the most highest paid profession because we make our own numbers.
Yes, we affect the bottom line.
Right. Well, let me tell you
If you
something.
bring it in the dollars, you're going to make the money.
Well, Ford, Toyota, they can make all the cars they want, but they need somebody to sell them.
That is true.
Cadillac, they need somebody to sell them. You can have all the radio you want to have on here, Dara, but you need somebody to sell some advertising. Because the advertising
Dale
needs like something.
Johnson, our CEO.
That's right. So my point I'm making is we have to, those who understand the value of salespeople, we have to make sure that they see themselves in the proper light. See, I don't be selling. I'm assisting people in making buying decisions.
You know
that
what I
benefit
am
them.
seeing is a lot of African Americans who have opted into running their own business.
Entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship is
The
definitely
way.
It's the way. It's the way. They're learning that you just can't get rich working for someone else.
Well, once you be free, you can't be a slave again.
Amen.
That's just that simple. I'm a serious entrepreneur. I told my story about the restaurants. Then I
Yes.
knocked on doors. You know, so entrepreneurship, and 21 years I own my own ADT company. 21 years I had an authorized dealership with ADT. I hired and met a payroll for 21 years. One time, Sister Angela, I couldn't meet my payroll, and I had a friend in Atlanta, Georgia. I told him, I said, ADT was funding us twice a week. Now they funding on a once a week. I'll have your money back to you on Thursday. He sent me a check for $20,000.
Wow.
It was the only time that I missed my payroll.
How many people did you have?
I had 8 salespeople, and I had 5 technicians that installed the system.
I see.
I did it big. My first year, I grossed $300,000.
That is wonderful.
I was doing it big. Doing it big, doing it right, knocking on 75, 80 doors, taking my men out, taking them out in the van, training them every day, had sales meetings there every Monday, and making sure we go over what challenges they was having so we can milk it and make them become better. I call it the lab. You got to get your salespeople in the lab, and whatever's going on in the lab, you can fix it in the lab. And once you fix it in the lab, then they're going to be successful.
Well, if you are thinking about being an entrepreneur, or you have a business, you need to take it to the next level, you need to get hold of Mr. Alameen.
You better call me now while I'm available. 813-787-6652. You need to call now. The sense of urgency, because you got to get it done. If you're going to get it done, what's the best time to do it now?
Right now.
If not you, who? If not me, I got to do it. I'm the best ever did sales. I'm the best marketer in this city. I'm the best marketer in this town. You know why? Because I get results. The only thing in life counts is results. And Les Brown said the only thing counts is results. And I work with him as well.
Love Les Brown.
And I work with him in mine.
Motivational speaker. All right.
Hello, Tampa Bay. This is Ainsley Bill with Florida Realty Unlimited. As a broker with 15 years experience and a veteran of the Navy, I do understand your needs. Real estate prices are up. So if you're thinking of selling your home, call me for a free market analysis. If you're planning to buy a home,
please call me for a free live consultation. For more information, call Ainsley Doe at 813-546-1954. Once again, the number is 813-546-1954. Or check my ad out in the InTouch.
This is Angela Birdsong with Tampa Bay Politics, and not only can you catch us on InTouchNews.com every Wednesday at 11 a.m., we now have a website at TampaBayPoliticsPodcast.com. We are on Apple, Google, Spotify, and Stitcher, which you can log in at any time and listen to Tampa Bay Politics.
Hello, I'm Rob Perry with Solar Energy Loan Fund, and we can help you finance your energy needs. If you need a new air conditioner, roof, solar panels, windows, doors, weatherization, having plumbing issues, the Solar Energy Loan Fund can help you with that. Even if your credit isn't the best, we'll be able to help you replace that whole air conditioner or get that roof replaced. Again, my name is Rob Perry. I'm with Solar Energy Loan Fund. I can be reached at 727-315-3223. Again, that's 727-315-3223. What can we get from you?
You're listening to Tampa Bay Tammy on InTouch Radio. InTouch Radio.
Alrighty, we are back. And Mr. Jarvis Elamine is a man of many trades. And now we're going to talk about a very lucrative and very good career he's had as a political consultant.
Yes, let's talk about it. Let's say this. Let me say about politics first. If you got a Social Security card, you're already involved in politics. I hear people say, oh, I'm involved in politics.
Amen.
That's a lie. Because if you ain't dead until you got a death certificate, you ain't born until you got a birth certificate, you can't get Social Security without a Social Security card, that's politics. So let me get out of the way first for those who don't want to hear nothing about politics.
And all politics is local.
All politics is local. Thank you, Angela. We tag teaming on this. So don't run away from the radio show now because we're going to start talking about politics. Everything affect your life. From what you eat, what kind of water you can drink, when you can water your lawn, everything in this community, especially local politics. I got involved with politics. Let me tell you this story. I was working for a radio station in Miami, WEDR. I was selling radio advertisement. And I used to also work the board when Les Brown, we just started talking about him.
I love Les Brown.
He was doing a talk show there, and he used to do Motivational Mondays. And so what happened was that we had, City of Miami at that time had a city manager form of government. You know the difference?
I don't.
Okay, so I'm going to educate you as well.
All right.
Maybe I think Darryl already know.
And Dale Johnson is here too.
All right, so let me tell you what happened is Tampa have a strong mayor form of government, which means that the mayor is the chief executive of the city and run the city.
Yes.
Lakeland got a strong manager form of government, which means the city manager run the city. And the mayor is just a ceremonial post. Miami at that time had a city manager form of government, and the mayor was just a ceremonial post. So they brought in a brother that used to work in the mayor's office in Newark, New Jersey, named Howard Gary, made him the city manager. We was having a problem with the police chief at that time in Miami, and the city manager have the power to fire the police chief.
I see.
He fired the police chief for all this road policies and police brutality. And what happened was they fought back. When he did that, they was pissed off, and the city council, they call them commissioners there. The city commissioners got together and fired Howard Gary.
Wow.
And so what we did was that was spring me into action. Les started talking about it on the air. He asked me, he said, Jarvis, let's get involved in this. That was my beginning to get involved in politics. And so from that point on, I worked on Carrie Meeks, the first campaign I worked on. She's passed away now, Kendrick Meeks' mother.
I know that name. Okay.
Carrie Meeks, she was a
All
Congress.
right.
She started off as a state rep, then she was a Congress lady
I see.
in Miami. And was a lady named Gwen Cherry, who was related to Dr. Glenn Cherry, who used to own WTMP. She had that position as a state rep. She passed away going to Tallahassee in a car accident.
Oh, what a shame.
Going to session. So when she passed, it left that seat open. Carrie ran for it.
I see.
So they came to the mosque, looking for the mosque support on 53rd Street and 7th Avenue, and said, "What, Jarvis? He involved in politics. Get him in, get him." So they came. I started, and I worked with Carrie. We got Carrie elected the state rep, and the rest is history. And then I started working different campaigns after that. That time I was a volunteer on campaigns.
I see.
I got to let people know that. So people don't know my history. I wasn't always getting paid as a consultant. I was just volunteering, phone banking,
Well,
knocking
you
on
gotta
doors.
get
there.
experience for
Gotta
people
get
to
some-
hire you.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
sure.
that's for sure. So that's how I got started.
Okay. So at some point, you transferred to the Tampa Bay area.
Yes, I came to Tampa in 1987, and I jumped right involved in politics. I started off with over the NAACP, Bob Gilder.
Bob Gilder.
Yep, me and Bob Gilder and Michelle Patty, Andrew, what should be right for the center? I can call his name now. Randolph Kinsey. All of us. He's the one. Those are the people that got me involved with Tampa politics. So we were doing voter registration. Randolph Kinsey was writing articles with the Florida Sentinel, and me and Michelle Patty started working with Mr. Bob Gilder doing voter registration. Then Mr. Henry Carley and Porter, all of those, that whole group started working together. You know that, and
Yeah,
that
these
started.
are famous names
Yes.
in Tampa history.
Yes. So that's how I got involved in politics. Started out with the NAACP with Bob Gilder and Henry Carley. Randolph Kinsey got me involved in campaigns, and Michelle Patty got me involved in campaigns.
Now, what was the first? Who was the mayor back then? Do you remember who was the mayor?
Yeah, you had Sandy Freeman.
Okay,
Sandy Freeman. Bob Buckhorn was Sandy Freeman administrative assistant, and also Otis Anthony was the black administrative assistant.
He is one of the first people I met when I came to Tampa. Otis Anthony.
Otis Anthony. Yep.
Yes,
So
and unfortunately, he passed away as well.
yes, he did. He transitioned.
Yeah, yes.
So those were the two we was engaging with. The mayor at that time, we was challenging the mayor on. She was tearing down houses for this day, calling them crack houses, and all of them wasn't crack houses, but she was tearing them down. She had a fund called the Mayor's Challenge Fund, and she would come in the city would lend money. Reverend Dixon organization was a part of that challenge fund. THAP, this organization right here, was a part of that challenge fund, and their mission was to build affordable houses in the hood in East Tampa.
Yes.
So this affordable housing thing ain't nothing new. We've been talking about this was in the 90s.
Now it's just a crisis.
Yeah, it's a crisis now. So that's how I started the activism part of it.
I see.
Politics. So we start challenging her on that. And then my highlight of my activism, political activism, was when the mayor, Sandy Freeman, was going to have a slave ship. I don't know if Darryl remember this. A slave ship was an entertainment group from Boston was going to have a slave ship to make mockery about slavery. It was down at St. Paul. We brought Jesse Jackson in. We brought
Jesse Jackson
yeah,
showed
and the
up.
Nation of Islam at that time. Louis Farrakhan had a strong group here. Mr. James X. All of those people was challenging the mayor. Don't make mockery of our past. Don't make an entertainment ship talking about our history and our past. And we
Now,
sunk
where
that.
was this ship going to be?
It was going to be down the channel side.
I see.
Called the Widow Slave Ship. We sunk the ship. We all came together on that issue. Toba was in on it. NAACP was in on it. NOI was in on it. I was in on it. All the community organizing and activism, Sister Connor was in on it. Everybody was down to sink that ship.
I see.
And we sunk it. Michelle Patty group took a lead on it. She had a group called Concerned African American Citizens at that time.
I see.
So that
So,
was it.
what was the first political candidate that you worked for and you got paid?
Oh,
Say, I am a true political consultant.
yes, let me tell you something. Believe it or not, it was Bob Buckhorn
I see.
when he ran for city council.
Okay.
It wasn't a lot of money, but it was my first paid.
Yes,
Paid,
that
yeah.
made you a
That
professional.
made me a professional. And so he paid me to work for him. He ran for city council because he became, after he did 8 years with Sandy as her administrative assistant, then he ran for city council. And I worked on this campaign for city council. Of course, he stayed there 8 years, and then he ran for mayor, and I worked on this first mayor campaign. He lost against,
Did he?
yeah, he did. He lost against Pam.
Okay.
was-
I didn't
it was-
realize he
but
ran
at that
against
time, I
Pam
didn't
Iorio.
He did. I didn't work for him on that particular campaign. I switched over to Frank Sanchez, who became the Assistant Secretary of Transportation for President Barack Obama. They had a group called the O Train. We was a group of black people that supported 2008 when President Obama first won. And me and Candy, that's when me and Candy met around 2004. So we used to do political watch parties at the Harbor Club. And we raised the first $20,000 from any black group in Hillsborough County for
For
Barack Obama.
President Obama.
Yes.
The O train. I
No
like
train.
it.
So that was my start. By that time, I had become a popular consultant because of my passion and how I go after
And results.
and results, and how I also know how to do opposition research on my opponents and how to exploit the opposition report without being nasty but being truthful.
Yes. All right. So you worked. What was after Buckhorn? Who came after that?
Oh, I worked for Frank Sanchez.
Sanchez, and then after Sanchez,
after Sanchez, I had a couple of people in between that. The next big one was Buddy Johnson.
Okay,
Right.
he was our supervisor of elections.
Supervisor of election, yes.
Yes. Okay.
For him, I did some consulting work for him. Not so much political, but consulting work. He had a federal grant to do outreach. And so how I got that consulting job with him was he was changing around some precincts. And I said, what's going on? Why Miller's not a precinct no more? So I called. He had a black woman as his chief of staff. She said, well, what you wanted me to do about it? I said, what you need to do. And I just being a salesperson. See, went to my being persuasive.
You sold yourself.
But I wasn't really trying to sell. I said, what you need to do, you need to hire somebody like me that got here and educated people about voting. She said, oh, we do? I said, yeah. She said, well, get me a proposal. And the proposal was sweet. I'll just leave it at that.
Hey, you know what? You're doing a good job. You deserve to get paid. That's the bottom line.
Yes, and so that's how that happened. And then I worked for a number of campaigns in between that. I worked for some people on the county commission. Kevin Beckner worked for his campaign when we beat the wrestler. Can't think of Brian Blair.
Brian Blair.
Yeah,
Thank God you did that.
We beat him like a runaway slave.
Amen.
He's still mad with me today. I knocked on his door when I was selling Spectrum TV. He remembered me. He said, yeah, you the one, man, that caught me over there at Thomas Scott Church, and you was putting Beckner signs on. That was the last Sunday before that Tuesday election. But I go hard. I had a team, and what we used to do was we put the political flyers on all the cars at the churches on Sunday morning. The last 8 weeks of a campaign,
Yes.
we worked the parking lots. We grind. Sometimes the security guards run us out. I said, don't worry. When they run us out, we just leave and go to the next. And then when they leave, we'll come back when the security guard is asleep. Well, not sleep physically, but he, forgot about us. We hit him again. Boom.
Wonderful, wonderful.
And so he caught me out there one day. We beat him, Kevin. I'm almost 80% responsible for Kevin Beckner ever being a county commissioner. It's not.
Well, that was
it's not
one
bragging.
thing that you did because he ended up being a very good county commissioner.
And it's not bragging, but it's a poor frog don't play his own pond. And I got to be truthful that I'm good at what I do, and that's why they hired me. And Chloe Coney introduced me to him at the Gourmet Gents event. That's how I got introduced.
Gourmet Gents. That's a coalition of 100 black women.
Right.
Yes,
And so by
that's
that
their
time,
big fundraiser.
They got one coming next month in June. So I was on heavy demand then. I got calls from people like Ken Hagan that wanted to hire me. I did work for him one time. I know that's your opponent, but I worked for him one time. And
who was his opponent at the time?
he
Do you
ran
remember?
against, I can't remember, but it was another person, Caucasian person, but it was easy to beat.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
easy to beat.
I don't think he's had any real competition until I came along.
He did. That's true. He never had no real. You gave him more than he can chew.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gave him more than he
because
can
I
chew.
think he might even run unopposed a couple of times.
He did. So I ran, that was on the county commission. Of course, Commissioner Kevin White, I worked with him. Of course, Frank Reddit, I worked on this campaign. All these were paid gigs. Tom Scott worked on his campaign. All those were paid gigs.
Tom Scott did 2 terms, I believe, on the county commission.
And
Yes.
3 times as the chairman.
Okay.
So I did some consulting work with him as well. So I became, and when you win and get results, then you become in high demand. And then if you have passion, and people say, I'll never forget.
Passion and results will get you paid.
That's right. Some people call Buckhorn that wanted to hire me, call Buckhorn and say, what do you think about me hiring Jarvis Elamine as my consultant to do outreach for black voters in the black community? He said, you rather have Jarvis on your team or not on your team because he ain't nothing to play with. That's what Buckhorn told him.
Yes, sir.
And so the man that called came back
I would
and told
say
me.
the same thing about Miss Patty.
Yes. Well, we to her respect, I give her props. We came up together. We came up together. We kind of ideology. We split on some candidates, but most of the time we was on the same team. And she was a great mentor to me and taught me the game. And I was as well to her because I give her perspectives from a man perspective and from a warrior's perspective. Me coming out of the Nation of Islam, I'm a warrior.
Yes.
So we was compliment each other. So I give her props. And her teacher was Randolph Kinsey, and that was my granddaddy in the politics.
Okay.
That taught
I
me.
don't know Randolph Kinsey.
Oh, you cannot not know Randolph Kinsey. He wrote Another View for the Sentinel all the way till he died. almost 50 years. He was a school teacher. Oh, Randolph Kansas was the best. He was Les Miller's legislative aide when he was in the State House. Yeah,
I see. Okay, these things I wasn't so involved in politics back then.
we're gonna bring you up to speed.
Yes. Yeah, I've learned through the School of Hard Knocks now. We'll be back.
Catch my show that will be all up in your business. Let's Talk Business with Cheryl J. Truster. Every Wednesday at 12:31 p.m. My three co-hosts and business experts provide insight for business entities and entrepreneurs. First Wednesdays is Derek Blue, CEO of Fact Building, the Business Blueprint. Second Wednesdays, check out with Dr. Shanae Davis of Your Best You Clinic, delivering our greatest wealth in your health. Third Wednesdays, branding your business with Jeanette Denver J. Hodge Smith, coordinating and marketing president. Fourth Wednesdays, featuring fashion trends, styled by Linda Archie of Aldiva Couture Boutique. So join us every Wednesday from 12:31 p.m. to 1:31 p.m. at www.intouchnews.com. Call in at 813-444-9588.
Ray Williams Funeral Home, providing the highest quality, professional, and caring service for your family. Call Jeffrey Rhodes at 813-253-3419. That's 813-253-3419. Or visit him at 301 North Howard Avenue, Tampa, Florida. Ray Williams Funeral Home, for the finest care and quality service.
This is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. Looking for some great barbecues? Come see them two Burger and Grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
Welcome back to Believe It or Not, our last segment.
That quick?
That quick?
Oh my God! You got to invite me back, Angela.
I
I'm
know,
just getting started.
we're just getting started.
Yeah, I told DJ CEO, I said, man, come on with it. I'm ready to roll now. Y'all got me, my energy rising. I'm ready to fire up, ready to go, fired up. Come on, let's go, Angela.
All right, let's talk about one of the premier campaigns that you worked on, which was Straz versus our current mayor, Jane Castor.
Let me tell you something. That was the epitome of my political consulting career.
I think so.
It was. It put me in the stratosphere.
I could see you were in your glory.
Yeah, I was in my glory. I made a hunk of money, and me and David became good friends.
Nice guy.
Yeah, real nice guy. Me and David became good friends. I can tell you a couple of stories about David. I remember one time, and I'm going to tell you about white people. White people can be very, very rude, so they really didn't like David. So we were down in South Tampa to a forum one time. White lady walked up to David and talked to David real nasty. Why are you doing this? You're shaming yourself. You're shaming us as white people. That's what she said to David. He's right in front of me. Listen to me. Y'all didn't know this. Y'all was just talking, didn't know. So the woman just come down hard on David. Oh, little fragile white man about to crumble. I saw him about to crumble. And I felt sorry for him, honestly, Angela. So I had my people just move David out. I said, get him out of here. And he was hurt. So when he got on the stage, I still understand that conversation that lady had to him and was affecting him. They asked him about, is there a cabal in the city of Tampa? Is there a group that's controlling the politics in Tampa? He said, yeah. Of course, his opponent said no. And he wasn't as strong as he was at Militant at that particular forum because of what that lady did to him. So we came back one day. We was over at the Ella, and we was leaving. I said, David, why do these white people hate you so much, David? He said, I don't know, Jarvis, I don't know. I said, David, you think they player hating? He said, Jarvis, what is player hating? I said, they just jealous of you? Yeah, Jarvis, they player hating.
Well, I will say this. There are people who do not like people buying a position. And I think they felt that it was all about the
Which
money
is a
and the
lie.
stress.
Which is a lie. Let me clear that up since you brought it up. It's a lie. See, let me give you my perspective on that.
All right.
If you're married with a man because he had $435 million and had the money to finance his own campaign, if you had the money to finance your campaign now, you would do it.
I would.
No, you would. If you had the money to finance your whole campaign, you would do it. Because he had money to finance that campaign, didn't take no money. We tried to get David to take no money. People trying to give David money. He wouldn't take no money. So to me, that narrative don't fly. That dog don't hunt. He was not trying to buy the campaign. He was spending money and spending it trying to win.
Right.
And that's what he was doing. So that was another fallacy.
I thought he was too old and feeble.
Well, I think you was right. But the part you didn't understand was...
By the way, that was our CEO, Daryl Johnson.
But I didn't answer Daryl, too. What you didn't know, Daryl, he was too old and feeble, but somebody like me that was the consultant would have been running City Hall. Just that simple. His chief of staff, which would have been me, I would have been running City Hall. I would be John Bennett today if David would have won.
I see.
And let me tell you something.
It's all about the staff. The staff.
But David said in the meeting, and I mean, people didn't know this, he said the only person to the whole staff with white people there, only person, if I be blessed to win this seat, that I would take downtown with me is Jarvis Elamine. I'm telling you. And I didn't ask for that. He said that.
I also think that Joe Biden and Donald Trump are too old and feeble.
And
thank God we have Joe Biden right now.
Well, he's still too old and feeble, Angela. You can say we got him. I'm gonna call you out on that. Yes, CEO DJC is right. I'm glad we got him too, but he's still too old and feeble. Just don't forget that part.
Well, the thing is, we need him right there, right now. He is the candidate that we needed.
Well, he's still too old and feeble.
I voted for him.
I voted for him. We got him. And we got him.
But you know what? This is what it comes down to. An election is always about a choice. Okay, maybe we might like to get someone else, but when you get to that ballot, you got to choose.
No, I agree. And we chose. In my opinion, Angela, we chose the lesser two evils because
we chose.
Let me tell you why. We saved this president's campaign in South Carolina.
Amen.
We saved it. It was in the garbage can.
We saved it.
Thank God that he got the black Supreme Court person. But we need some student loan forgiveness. Myself, we need reparations. We need some real contribution to the black nation. We really need something. The vote should be transactional.
Well, let me tell you my answer to that.
Our vote should be transactional. For every other community, their vote is transactional. They vote for somebody to get something for it. The LGBTQ community, their vote is transactional. Our vote need to be transactional, and that's where we dropped the ball at.
Well, my answer to that is we need 2 more Democratic senators so we can get what we want. We need the Voting Rights Act passed. We need the Police Reform Act passed. So if we can get Val Demings through and we get to the polls, black people have the power.
All right, let me say this to you, sister. All that's well and good. But one thing about old dumb 45, so old dumb 45. You know what I learned from dumb 45? He got a lot of things done in executive order. He ain't wait for no Senate to do nothing. See, your man right now. See, let me see. I got to shake up a little bit. This is what I was looking for. I want to have a shake-up talk. I want to have, because number one, he got a lot of stuff, sister, he can be doing with executive order, the power of the pen. And don't tell me he can't, because Donald Trump proved that it can be done with executive order. So, yeah, we need another senator. Yeah, I agree we need Val. Yeah, we need that. But I can't wait. When I say the black community can't wait. Do some things that you can do with that executive order.
The only thing he can do is he can do the student loans.
Okay,
when we talk about voting rights, we need the votes.
That's okay. He haven't done what he could do with the power of the executive order.
Anyway, that's coming anyway. He's going to do it.
Okay, well,
he's going to do it.
Those who know don't say, and those who say don't know.
It's just a matter of how much is it going to be right now.
It's okay.
It's going to be 10,000. He doesn't want to.
I believe it when I see it. I believe it when I see it.
That's coming.
The only thing in life, like Les Brown said, count as results. Now, let's get back to the Vote Right Act. So now, what we need to do is push some of those Republicans that's on there to get this George Floyd bill passed. We just can't always just depend on Democrats.
That is true. The Democrats always take the heat.
No, but here's the point. Black people need to stop being just one party people. If we had enough black people in this other party, then they can make demands to Republicans that we can't make to them. You know why?
Well, I disagree.
Right? No, well, you can.
I disagree.
You can't.
But I don't care how many black people you get in there. Republicans are going to be Republicans.
But here's my point.
And they're going to vote the same way.
But here's my point, though.
They are who they are.
No, that may
and
be,
they are not ashamed of that.
But that may be true. But we ain't even got a chance because number one, we don't vote for them and they don't owe us nothing. So now, what your narrative get us where we at now? That we're gonna always be dependent on Democrats to do something, and they don't do
You
it.
cannot change Republicans. Just forget about it.
I'm not trying to change them. I'm
saying that if more of us went over to the Republican side, we could change the vote. It's not going to change them.
Well, I disagree with you, number one.
I disagree with you.
And let me tell you why. Number one, this blind loyalty we have for the Democratic Party, it's got to change.
It's not. You're not going to find love. What you're looking for.
That's what I'm saying to you.
You're not going to find it.
Why are we just blind loyal to the Democratic Party?
Because they reflect our values.
But we're not getting that. Tell me what we're getting for it. Name me 3 things that we have gotten from this administration. You've been in office damn near 3 years. Name me besides the Supreme Court lady.
Well, you said the Supreme Court lady from me right away.
No, because I knew you were going to tell that. That's obvious. He had to do that because he promised that straight out the gate. He had to do that. And that's why Ice Cube and everybody else was trying to get him to promise something else other than that. He promised that out the gate. But he never made no other promises to do nothing else. He never promised to do it long. You say he's going to do it, but he didn't promise that. So I understand you. I'm a Democrat. Let me make that clear.
Yes.
But we have to be more demanding.
The Voting Rights Act and Sinema and Manchin turned on us.
And Manchin is a Democrat.
No, he ain't. Well,
he said he's a Democrat.
He say he is.
Oh, well, see, now we want to play games with titles. The man said a Democrat, but he don't vote all Democrat. He vote with Republican. Okay, then so
we need 2 more real Democrats.
Okay, so here's my point. Let me say this. I want to say this. I've thought about this, and I got to say this before I leave. I got to say this.
All right.
Let me tell you what the Democratic Party need to do. This is from Book of Jarvis Salamine.
All right. Tell me.
Let me tell you. Take this to all your Democrat high-ups.
Yes.
If they want to really get black people interested in them and in politics. What y'all need to do, Democrats, is spend a hunk of money on black political consultants, spend a hunk of money with black media, spend a hunk of money with black people that can turn the vote out. That's what they don't do. Because they don't invest in the black thinker, so they don't invest in the black vote because they get it for free. You know what Democrats tell me?
I'm a Democrat, by the way.
You know what they tell me?
What?
I am too, by the way, but I ain't no blind lawyer Democrat. Let me say this to you, sister.
Yes.
You know what they say to me when I get that, try to get that Democrats on me? I'm not paying for a vote that I'm going to get for free anyway. So here's my narrative. If they want to change,
that is not a good position.
That's what they say.
Take.
Let me tell you something. I've been doing this politic things for 25, 30 years, and I hate to say this. Most of my good paying clients was Republicans, were not Democrats.
Well, they always got the money.
No, Democrats got money too. Don't tell me
they don't always have the money.
Democrat does have money. Don't play that game with me.
If I had the money right now, I'd hire you on the spot.
No, let me tell you something. No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
Let me tell you why. I told you out in the lobby how to get the money. If you're willingness and you were sincere about it, you'll go out here and knock on every door to find the money to bring a good person like me on board. Because you can't find the money.
I got to raise money.
No. You are
Mr. Elamine, because I need him working for me.
Listen,
and I'm a Democrat.
That's right. Listen to me, and black.
And black, and I need you.
Let me tell you something. All you got to do is tie yourself and down for dollars. There are people out there want to give you. There's a lot of people want your opponent gone. They got a hunk of money. You think all the people with a hunk of money this time is with him?
No.
Okay, then a lot of those developers that really want to see him gone, you got to tie yourself down to a phone 4 hours a day, 4 days a week, and down for dollars and come up with enough money to bring quality. And that's the problem with Democratic opponents and Democratic candidates. They do not want to pay for the black vote. They don't want to pay for somebody. And they got mad with David because David spent money to turn out the black vote. And by the way, let me put this on record.
I'm not saying the Democrats were against him. I'm just saying that people in general felt that he was buying the campaign. That's Republicans.
I'm not going to even revisit that no more because I already explained that. I'm not. I'm not revisiting that.
I'm not saying it was
because if you want to talk money, you right now. If you want to talk about money right now,
I'm not saying it was a Democrat statement.
I ain't talking about partisan. I'm saying if you want to talk money, you'll finance your own campaign. Well, here's my point. Let me say
1 minute left. What you want to say to us, Jarvis?
This is the last one. We won every black precinct with minor leadership in David Stratt's campaign.
That is true.
Every black precinct. So now we have
one black.
And that was because of a man named Brother Jarvis Salamine, Enhancement Enterprises consulting firm. So if you want a winner on your team, 813-787-6652. And you want to get this book, It's called Creating a Sales Mentality, How to Think Like a Salesperson. You want to develop and enhance your persuasion skill, enhancemententerprises.com. I want to thank you, Daryl, for having me on your show, on your radio station.
Daryl Johnson.
And Angela, I love you, sister. And
Hey, thank you for coming, brother. I love you.
there's absolutely nothing to do about it. But I am going to do something for you.
All right.
I'm going to take you to some of my Muslim peoples, and we're going to see what we can do.
Thank you. What more can a girl ask for?